What's up, gang? It's been a while since we've done a podcast directly from the studio, or at least from the broadcasting software. So I had to refresh my crash course, refresh myself in the crash course on this, and we've got a couple videos that I'd like to get out soon. We're going to do one tonight. Trying to just spend 30 minutes or so banging out one at a time. But this one, actually, I don't have too long to on this one, but it's been a while since I've reviewed any of any meeting, any public meeting, and I think I'm just going to stick with some highlight notes on some of them instead of going through the entire meetings for you guys. I know that a lot of you love that. Phil and Phyllis Bagman can't be here tonight. I know they miss you guys. I know you all miss them, especially those of you who got Christmas cards from them, or got their Christmas cookies. But I do listen to all of them. I happen to catch notes on this one, and I want to start just touching on highlights, and I got a bunch of other segments coming up for the channel, so I wanted to, in my busy schedule, and I wanted to hop in on this one that caught my ear at the February 15th Board of Education meeting, which was not this past one from a week ago, Tuesday, but the prior months. So let's hop into it. So literally, and this is a short segment. This segment talks about their social media policy, and I know how a lot of you feel, or know how I feel about social media policies. I think they're doo-doo. I think they're dookie. I think they're just one more handcuff, one more shackle on our constitutional freedoms, especially when you work for a municipality or a local government or the state board of ed, or the state ed department, or any of that stuff. So, looks like we got somebody trying to rifle their way into the studio. Somebody's ready for a tubby, so Daddy's gonna get this quick. But yeah, social media policies, they're just garbage, and they're doing a final review here.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah.
Abstentions? All right, on to the revised staff use of computerized resources.
Staff use social media policy.
Any discussion on this one? There should be. There has been.
So they wanted to bring it to the whole board to discuss it. And they're like, well, didn't you talk about this in committee? Like, yeah, we did. But there's a lot of gray area that this is our draft to bring to you, because there's a lot of discussion we have to have as a whole, not just within our committee. And they don't publish any of the committees. So I'd like to see... I would love to be a fly on the wall in those meetings. Minutes don't do justice, because literally they're bullet points. They're literally like the stuff that I write down. I write like a list of notes when I listen to these meetings, and it's just, yeah, it's doo-doo. But they bring this policy forward, and still to this day, no organization is defined. Like, social media is like up for conjecture. I hate the fact that everything on the internet is social media. Like, oh, you used Google. Well, Google has a profile that you sign your email up to, and your email is a profile of you. And so everything related to Google Chrome and everything it touches, like it's like Simba's land. Wherever the sun touches is ours. Like, that's essentially what becomes social media. Oh, you have Facebook? Oh, well, yeah, Facebook's social media, because you're being sociable with online media. You can post pictures and stuff. And YouTube's social media now, because you can post videos. You're posting media, and people can comment on them. And, well, what about my website? That's weird. How about Pornhub? How about, well, MySpace doesn't count anymore because they're not social media. Oh, wait, or are they? Everything on the internet is social media. Anywhere that they have a comment that you can comment on is social media, which essentially means that anything you post on the internet is social media. So why don't they call it an internet policy? Like, this is our internet policy. No, it's social media policy. No, yeah, even if you send a private message into a company, because there is no expectation of privacy, they can publish what you commented on. Like, I don't like the service that you provided at this establishment or whatever, and it doesn't have to be publicized. It just goes to the owner of that business. Well, they can publish it on their website, and now all of a sudden your opinion of, or your critique of their business is now on a social media platform, because they've put it out there amongst their media and everything else. And that's what's ridiculous, because anytime you ask anybody what social media is, they say it's anything on the internet. You talk to some people, oh, it's only Facebook, or it's only YouTube, it's only MySpace, it's only Twitter. Like, no, it's everything that's on the internet. So don't call it social media. And I hate that, because it's just a subjective term. Ugh, sorry. So anyways, they wanted to bring it to them, and one of the major critiques that I had was, I think it's the unspoken flaw in a lot of people's arguments. So we won't have this argument about, well, you have the right to say whatever you want. Okay, fair enough. I have the right to say whatever I want, and I have to respect the fact that you have the right to say whatever you want. But I can penalize you for it. Okay, then I can penalize you for your view. Well, but I'll tattle on your boss, and you're too much of a nice guy to give two shits about what I say, and you're a normal human being, and I'm vengeful and hateful, and what I want to do is I want to go to your boss and have you fired, because I don't like that point of view. And I hope my hope is that you get fired, and then you starve to death because you can't bring any food into your family, and your entire ideology and thought process dies with you. The guy who's starving to death was like, I don't like their point of view, and I told them so, and they don't like my point of view, and now I have to starve to death because I have a conscience, and I'm not willing to be petty to go to somebody's boss and be like, they said something I don't like on Facebook, and then they have to lose their job. I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. That is not the American way. This whole cancel culture, this whole, and we'll get into it in a book review I'm going to do hopefully tomorrow, this whole idea that you can turn around, and we're supposed to grow, each individual person, right? You're born, you know nothing, you learn some stuff, you critique that stuff that you know, and you become a better person. By the day you die, you are better than you were when you were born. You may be less innocent, but you are hopefully are better. You actually could be worse. No, there are people that could be worse. But the goal of society is to grow people. So you could grow, learn something, maybe learn something incorrectly, do some hateful stuff, then learn from your errors and ways, and then become better. And not do those things. That is human nature. We are growing, we're evolving, we're hopefully self-bettering as we go. And people don't seem to get that. People don't like that. Nowadays, people just, nope, you did one bad thing once, and you will forever be shackled by it, and yada yada. Now, there are certain things and habits and crimes and stuff that you could commit that pretty much take you down a path that there is no redemption for. And I won't get into that today, but it's just but just the idea that like I'm did I do something dumb 5 years ago? Did I do something dumb 10 years ago? Yeah, I was 5 or 10 years younger. I was, growing, right? And I'll probably still do stuff when I'm 90. That's dumb, or critiquable. But hopefully it is very minuscule. The problem is that you can never do something and people will expect you to have grown or changed by it, which shows how shallow and petty and uncivilized our society has become. Because life is about struggle. Almost every great work of art, of literature, is about the struggle of mankind and the things that we have to overcome as human beings, and just we can't do it. So, and then to put my opinion on the internet, which is an opinion, it doesn't hurt anybody. All of a sudden, it becomes it's blasphemy. And you had an opinion one time, and God forbid I change my opinion. Because I'm allowed to do that, because I'm a learning, a growing, evolving human being. But no, I'm not allowed to do that, because that would mean that I'm a human being, and instead of a puzzle piece that's supposed to fit perfectly inside the puzzle, that is the concept of this simpleton 2D society we live in. So, with that said, so the argument is that what if I say something and you don't like it? What if I say something on the internet to somebody else? Like I'm having a podcast with somebody, I'm having a conversation with somebody, and it's on the internet, and one of my somebody sees it and publishes it in the newspaper and writes a big hate piece about me, and then I go to work and other people are uncomfortable. And we're going to get into that right here. And I went to school with Julio. I like Julio. I don't like his argument on this topic. I think it's
Fashion.
I think it's
That
petty.
might be up in the air. But I'm not a lawyer, no.
But like, at the end of the day, there's certain things you can't say as far as being, and then you have to come back to a building and work with said. How does that work as far as people being comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, he's referring to the second paragraph there in the reporting violations. You guys really need to take a look at that and see what it is that we're proposing, that we're talking to you about, because it's, it's pretty specific.
I guess I do.
I think. you
Yeah,
do.
I do.
I did take a look at it, and I was not at the operations committee meeting, and
So just that the statement there about the example of like, how do you say something on the internet and then you go to work with people and they know that you said something on the internet and they're not comfortable. Like, it's not my job to go to work and make people comfortable. Like, I don't go to work and give people back massages to make them more comfortable at work. People go to work and they break their backs because that's what work is. Most people's jobs, at least, should be back-breaking work. Or very, like, mind-melding work. Like, your mind should be doing a physical workout if your back isn't. And in a perfect world, you would find a happy medium, right? Like, one guy breaks his back at work, and when he goes home, he reads books and stuff. Somebody works a desk job, and then they go home and they work out. Like, there should be a happy medium between, like, using your brain and using your back, and, using your physical muscles. And if you don't have it at work, which there is no requirement for that, if you don't do it at work, you should, in a perfect world, have balance enough to find that somewhere else. But to make them feel comfortable, listen, you're not at work to be comfortable. You're not at work to sit in a nice comfy chair. You're not at work to, like, use a hammer that's got a really nice grip. It's just like, I sit in my chair and it's got a beaded back massager and it's heated and it's got a cold press, and like that's not why you're at work. You're not at work to be comfortable with lumbar support. You're at work to work. That's it. That's why you're there. You're at work to work. I hate all this other nonsense. Like, in my free time, I like to use my mind, and I like to post and formulate opinions and do homework and research and gain knowledge. And then as a stress relief, I do my podcast, and I talk to a whole litany of strangers on the other side of my podcast. Or I talk to somebody in my podcast hoping to also be eavesdropped on by that whole litany of strangers. It's a great stress relief. It also gets my opinions out there. It helps me formulate better opinions by me saying them out loud, getting critiqued by other people, allowing me to evolve, strengthen, or weaken my opinion, and then at which point I would change it, or strengthen it, and hopefully I can change the mind of somebody else because my opinion might be stronger. That's how we sharpen each other as a society, and we eliminate that by only listening to people in an echo chamber, and that's where we have bubbles of people that just don't get, they don't grow. They don't grow at all. They don't get sharp. They get dull because you're beating two rocks together instead of harnessing that by hitting two blades together to sharpen one another. One sharpens the other. That's the beauty of opinion. That's the beauty of a free people. I don't like that whole, because that is the ideology of a lot of people. Well, I'm not comfortable at work. Yourself. I'm here to work. I don't care what you think about what I said in my free time. If you'd like to say it to me afterwards, after work, you'd like to say it to me on my break. If you're on your break and you want to send me a message and tell me how hideous you think my opinion is, that's great. That's good for you. And then we can have a dialogue, or I can just ignore you because this is America, the same way you could have ignored me in the first place. But I just don't like that people being comfortable. Like, who cares? If everybody was comfortable with an opinion, nobody would have an opinion. We'd all have the same opinion. And like I said, just cracking stones together. We're not sharpening anything. We're not growing as a people. And throughout this meeting, they keep chiming in, well, you do have the First Amendment rights of people to contend with. Like, and it was like half sincere and half condescending. I did not like the attitude given off by a lot of people in the meeting. And then I'd like to hear more was what they said in...
And I
Number 12 becomes your number 9. So the 3 that were removed were really the ones that, if you were to say anything had any teeth in it, they probably were your ones that had the most teeth. And we took them out because there was a discrepancy in the group between whether or not this policy could have those, you know.
That's where
And
And
our compromise.
that's the big difference. I mean, it's not, the way this policy is written, I'd be okay with it. But the original 9, 10, and 11 also had in there it was a little bit reaching, less lenient. I mean, it gave you a little, maybe made you question a little more what you might post to your own social media account. You know, I mean, what you might put out there to the public. You know, whether or not we could actually enforce it was the big problem. You know, should it be in there because it.
So I'm going to kind of like let this die out. I mean, well, I have a note here saying to check.
with Ira, because
It's.
Well,
So, but let me be clear, because
Jeez.
We did check with her and we vetted the policy with her.
And so anyways, yeah, no, they want this thing to have teeth. Oh, and then I made a note here throughout the reactions of this entire meeting, throughout their interaction, there was a lot of dead audio. Like, it just went dead. And I don't know if they were talking about something that they had to redact afterwards. I just want to point that out. But if you go to this board meeting on YouTube and you watch it from about 2 hours and 6 minutes in, you're going to catch this whole policy up until I believe the end of the meeting. Yeah. Which is like, so you got like 25 to 30 minutes of this. But it gives you a good idea of where they're discussing. Again, these are a government entity. They are a government entity. And same with any other government or municipal job. It's different than private sector. Private sector can write all the stupid rules that they want. They can infringe on your freedom of speech because you're at work to break your back. That's it. You're there. They pay you. They don't want to hear your opinion. They shouldn't have to care about your opinion. It doesn't even matter if your opinion's the most progressive one of the time. Like, they don't have to listen to you now because, like, Netflix and Disney and all those other, cartoon networks want to listen to the loonies that work for them, like the minority Looney Tunes. They want to listen to, like, what Netflix had 6 people protest and, like, Netflix kowtow to them. Like, that was dumb. But they have the right to not listen, to not put up with your crap at work, even to not put up with your crap if it hurts the bottom line, because this is capitalism. This is America. Money is very, very important because money feeds your family. If money doesn't feed your family, your government won't, because the one thing the government is great at is taxing the living shit out of you. And you know what the second best thing they're good at is screwing up everything else. The government can be trusted with taxing you and screwing up everything else in your life. It has very limited purposes in this world. They're important purposes, having a national army, having, giving the states the power down to the local governments, and passing it down so the local government is the strongest of the power because it's representing the closest body, which is where the power comes from, which is the people, and then it goes to the state and then the feds. And centralized government is the worst thing ever, and it's been talked about for ever. And every situation of centralized government has turned up the world upside down and has shit down everyone's throat. And all those people have died horrible, miserable deaths. Look at Soviet Russia. There's just a good chunk of their population just got annihilated in death camps like that. That's, you know, slave labor camps, the whole nine, the gulags. That just tangent again. Sorry, gang. But we are. I lost my train of thought. Oh, so municipalities and government agencies, when they employ you, they actually have a higher duty to protect your First Amendment right than anywhere else that is an employment agency. So they have to respect, like, they can't write a policy that has tons of teeth to it. Private sector? Oh yeah, go for it. Public sector? Nope. Nope, sorry. No, my First Amendment right trumps almost all of your work policies. That, from the mouth of not babes, but like 16 different lawyers that I've talked to. 3 of which fight at federal levels at constitutional law. Like, that's what they do. They defend people's constitutional rights. So it's ridiculous that I have to come and like, I don't know, I have to like be their mouthpiece because they have to do it in a courtroom. But they're not, these municipalities, the private sector people, they're not hiring those lawyers. They don't want those lawyers. Those lawyers are there to protect us. But no, they have a duty to protect everyone's First Amendment right as the government. So it's trusting that the government's actually going to do that is where people think, oh, I don't have to fight for my freedoms because the government will do it. Like, no, it doesn't. The government actually wants to, at its core, wants to dissolve your freedoms. But in a court of law, they have, like, the fiduciary duty to protect my First Amendment rights. So, like, if your employer has a smoking policy, no, that's a bad example. If your employer has a social media policy and they're a municipality, they can say, well, you can't post this, this, and that. Well, unless it violates your First Amendment rights, which is goddamn near anything, and as soon as they do that, you can sue the daylights out of your employer, and your employer is one of the deepest bank pockets in the world. So, like, all they're doing is by the social justice warriors pushing these social media policies, all you're doing is giving the opportunity for anybody who wants to stand up for their civil liberties and their First Amendment rights to be able to sue the government at an endless bank and an endless pocketbook. So just throwing that out there to all you people that think, oh, we're just going to get people fired who work at school districts and stuff like that because we have a social media policy. Oh yeah, no, you just caused all of our taxes to triple, while those people just like own the state of whatever state they want to buy because they just bankrupted the state for one person. Like, that's just because people are dumb. That's it. The meek will inherit the earth. So, and all sheep need their shepherds. So it just sucks, you know. It just sucks the way we're watching our society fall down. But anyway, so this was a nice little excerpt video because this video pointed out some of the issues that I have with social media policies. And it also points out the makeup of our school board as it currently sits. And with the upcoming races in my previous video, we need your help. We need your support, folks. I am not running. I am sorry. I have little kids at home. I have to deal with them. I need, and I can do more from this podcasting seat than I could in one of those seats. I have to prove a lot of people, some people right and a lot of people wrong when they said, well, Kevin's not an alderman anymore. He is out of the picture. Like, no, you didn't cancel me. If anything, you just took my muzzle off. I have an opinion that's like a rabid dog. Okay? It's right. It's true. It's never more truest than when it bites you. And it can be deadly because it'll shred to bits the fake world that all of you have masqueraded around the bubbles you've put yourselves in. There's a lot of people out there that are living in these bubbles, these plastic bubbles of falseness, and then they build their worlds inside of it. And essentially, you're walking down the street in your plastic bubble, and here comes Kevin's opinion, like a dog off his leash, and it just pops and rips your bubble apart. And that could be catastrophic for some people. I'm sorry that the truth hurts, but the truth does hurt because you've surrounded yourself by lies. You've built your entire life, your support structure around lies. And if that's the case for you, then the truth is going to hurt. And the truth is not violence. So that's what it is. It is what it is. And so I'm proving a lot of people wrong when they're, oh, Kevin's going away. No, I'm sorry. No, you just let this dog off the leash, and there's a great protector of my opinion called the First Amendment of the United States of America. And by that amendment, essentially it is preventing any leash law from preventing my opinion from going wherever it wants to go. That is the beautiful part about this country. So I'm just glad I didn't make a snowflake reference. I just did Bubble Boy and rabid dogs. So that said, we will catch you guys on the next time for a book review, hopefully. Or I do have an intro to another topic I'm going to talk about. So tomorrow, the next day, hopefully tomorrow, we'll get you guys taken care of. We'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to vote in your local school board election. If you are planning on running, please get a hold of me. Get a hold of Vicky at the administrator's office. Let her know that you want to run. You want to protect our kids. So we'll catch you guys soon.